It's just a master.
Yeah, yeah. That was great. Same.
No, I was talking about like when your parents are children.
What did I give you? Oh, okay. I heard Sam gave me a piggyback phone.
That's a creepy way.
Creepy way.
It's like very.
I think it was
Really?
It's like
That was definitely for you.
it's like one thing. It's like that type of person.
Too high?
No such thing.
more still.
It's a little weird being that close to the speaker. Okay. Hey! What's up? Well, welcome to the first reading of this year's MFA Showcase Reading Series. For those of you who just happen to be here, you should check it out. Wednesdays from now through April, we're going to have graduating MFA writers from the CU Boulder program reading their work. And we've got Whitney Kerutis tonight, dear friend, to kick us off. So give it up for Whitney already. If you can, like silence yourself and all that stuff, that would be great. But before Whitney, her wonderful student, Jess Nieberg, correct? Nieberg. Jess Nieberg is going to come up and share some poems and then introduce Whitney for us. So give it up for Jess.
Of day where I am called out of class for 20 minutes or 30 minutes or an hour, I'm not really sure. Time is an adjacent concern to the embarrassment I am convincing myself is excitement. Today, we will play with Legos or the car game that is like Tetris but somehow more frustrating and I can never win. Today, we will play with silly putty or we will look at that oversized cardstock feelings chart on the wall that is yellowing at the corners and I will say, I feel like the worms I pluck from the ground with the boys at recess, or I will say, I feel like the boys at recess, but I won't say that. When I walk home, the boys at the bottom of my street will tell me I cannot ride a bike because I am a girl. This is all beside the point. We are here to talk about my fingers and what the boys will think of them. We are here because my hands are bleeding and this stale office is the closest thing we have to gauze. Today I will cheat at the car game, or I will throw my Legos across the room at that dumb gray fabric wall full of pictures from a National Geographic magazine, and maybe we are not just here because of my nervous hands, or maybe the beast that peels the skin off my fingers with his teeth until I bleed is now playing finger puppet with my whole body. Or maybe we are here because I am playing with no one at recess but the worms. Either way, I am excited. Either way, I get to leave class and have a whole 20 minutes or 30 minutes or an hour just to me and Miss Beale and my bloody fingers bitten raw in the face on the floppy feelings chart that looks angry but only at itself. Today, I did not go to the principal's office for throwing a crayon at Miles, or for throwing a chair at Allison, or for throwing a tantrum. Today. She will give me silly putty and I will go back to class and flaunt it like a first place prize. The worms will run out of my hands, slippery as humiliation, pale and red in the cheeks. I'm really used to reading at Slam Things and it's so quiet in here. Yeah, yes. Because I was named a daughter, as if my queerness has been a thing folded small inside me, something I have been too afraid to open too wide for fear of making too much noise. A singing birthday card opened in a silent morgue, a place I left for dead because I lacked the language to say there is something between life and living. I am the placebo effect of a perfect life. the ability to afford the privacy of shame and the confinement of large spaces. I want someone to sing to me like my father when he still believed I was a child. I want to know how to hold a mirror to old film and re-expose it so the light shines through where my innocence ran out. I want you to explain to me again closeness, how intimacy should be a bonding exercise with myself. I want how selfish to feel desire for a morning I have created, for a song they tried to give me as a name, Shira Liat, for one letter separating me from gender. I got one more time. Is that good?
Yeah!
Manhattan closed its eyes for the first time, and it was as delicate as watching a butterfly's wings quiver open. Manhattan took off its makeup and yawned. I am not afraid of the dark. In fact, I am out to dinner with a man probably 20-something years older. He is a painter and isn't that romantic. The buses have all sped away from the city like it is bleeding out, but it's too dark to see. The subways are coughing up wet lungs. The city has taken a sick day, and I am not afraid of being young, and I am not afraid of how short my skirt is, and I let him buy me dinner and find ignorance or innocence, but I know damn well Manhattan is a string of crushed Christmas lights in his palm, and doesn't that seem dangerous? And I have no way to get home, but I am not afraid. I have the stupid arrogance of a girl taught the currency of her body. It pays for the cab ride back to Grand Central. Thank God I got lucky this time. There were still trains running.
Woo.
So I'm going to introduce this rad person right here with a bio and then a less, like a more personal bio, I guess. So, Whitney Kerutis is an Arizona native currently residing in Boulder, Colorado. She is an MFA candidate at the University of Colorado Boulder, where she works on, currently or previously, several projects including Timber Journal, Subito Press, and Letter Machine Editions. She is the 2017 poetry winner of the Tucson Festival of Books Literary Awards. Her work has appeared in journals such as Breakwater Review, Anna Mesa Journal, The Thought Erotic, and Window. Her first chapbook, Chorus Song, is forthcoming on Patient Sounds Press, and Whitney is like such a rad professor. Her class is really wonderful, and like the reading lists and books she's assigned us are fantastic, and like totally, oh no, I did a thing, okay. But like she assigns us this amazing reading that's like super thought-provoking and like great writing, and I love being in her workshop class. So, welcome up Whitney.
Jess, you get an A now because that bio just petted my ego enough. Thank you all for coming, and special thank you to Jess for that incredible reading that we just all went through. Thank you to Innisfree for hosting this all, and Rushi and Alana, who unfortunately can't be here tonight, but they have done above and beyond to get this reading series going, so thank you again. I'm going to be reading from my thesis, which is finally finished, and yeah. And bye, thank you. If it's okay with everyone, I wanted to take a minute or two just to talk about the book and the process, just because it's a book that's really embedded in project, and so it might be worthwhile. I think so. Can you hear me now? Yeah. So, for no apparent reason, I still don't know why, but about 4 months ago, I became really obsessed with ancient Greek theater. It came out of nowhere. I'm not a theater major or know anything about it, but I became really obsessed in particular with the Greek chorus and how it operated within Greek tragedies. If you're not familiar, it usually operates in two different ways. It either is there to assist the audience about what is happening on stage, so that kind of buffer between the actors and the audience, and or it's just there simply to interrupt the action. And it provides a space for the audience to have a moment of self-reflection and to consider what actions they're seeing on stage and to ask themselves, am I leaning into this? Am I resisting? What is my role as a witness to all of this? And so I was curious about if I could translate that into a poetic space, in particular, the relationship between the poet and the reader. And so the project has 4 different kinds of poems operating, because one's not enough. Probably the one that I want to just highlight before I start reading is that there is a really bizarre play that is that is working through the collection, and it is written in the form of a play script, and it is really bizarre. And when I say that, I mean like I get weirded out reading it, and I wrote it. So it's like kind of bizarre, surreal, and it's 10 scenes broken up into fragments. So each scene is fragments, and woven in between them are the poems that are meant to represent the chorus. So just in case you don't have the physical where you can see that shift in form, but hopefully that will help guide what I'm about to attempt to do, which is read this. All right, I'm going to start reading. There is a script I am writing, rewriting, reciting in order to get away from myself. As if just there, in your upturned palms, a new pastoral appears as a throat making negative sound open. It's never not been night. My hands never not stretched before me, praying to land on something immediately recognized. Melos. Pulled behind fortune teller's glass, vacancy a starlit backdrop for lovers once left in bed linens to reframe as fatty thighs and air, a way of sleeping and how to sleep by the screen that keeps bright and one-dimensional city benches coated in ghost of populace. I hope they get their hands on me. Scene 1, Typhon, origin story. Which, if you didn't know, Typhon is a Greek mythology creature that lives under a volcano and is the cause of eruptions. And he is kind of the little sidekick of woman who basically just encourages her to do really destructive things. So, Scene 1, Typhon, origin story. Curtains open to a man in front of a storefront that is his, hosing the sidewalk clean. The stream picks up a band of false lashes. They want to carry over the curb, but the man saves them and instantly is in love with the band of false lashes. He thinks of the woman who once wore them, waking up with her face uneven, a doll with one of his eye sockets punched in. He thinks of her porcelain eye must be rattling soft at the bottom of her skull as she is walking through the streets. He is in love with her too. He is in love, so he sleeps. In his sleep, he is in love with real people, and the real people are loving him back. To the woman with only one band of false lashes, he wakes. Melos. A man choked me in bed, and I liked it. Piano key pushed on soft doesn't make any sound. Kind of like I had been put back in my body, and everything was becoming very useful. Woman. The other band of lashes, where are they? The man holds out his hands. Man, see, no lashes. She is pleading now. Please, please give them back to me. And when she says this, her porcelain eye is rattling at the bottom of her skull, and it sounds like her first date at a restaurant over wine and the sound of knives put to rest against the edge of dinner plates. Man, no, I don't have them. Dear Alcestis, being and not being are thought to be different things. In the apartment, I speak aloud the items I pull from the medicine cabinet so that my neighbors on the other side of the wall won't worry I am dead. A woman gets sick in the bathroom floor at work, and I think this is progress. It is and isn't presence. It causes me the same sorrow. It is and isn't the grieving O or finger re-aimed at when things became so laughably predestined. I don't know how to reach to a body in pain, nor do I want to. A body is a dying thing. I won't love a dying thing. You don't mop up in one go, but stretch thin over a great surface until you are a spouse whose body is easy to swallow. This sounds scripted. You'll still eat it. The only sincerity that matters is the one you light a torch for. Offered in the cup of my hand, the language here won't stop a wound. Don't ask for a case to stick around at me like I have it. No one lives in these poems. Woman covers her punched-in eye socket with her palm. She will have to do this from now on if he doesn't give back the lashes. The man holds out his empty hands. Dear Medea, I want to fall completely, not falling to fall, which is nothing more than a heat death looking at the wall while another yanks their socks off. Deeper still, the overgrowth gets itself going. I fuck like water drying from the asphalt you put your lips to. Is that the misfortune more lightly? I get so tired looking at my body in the mirror. An ellipses, woman. When you drove the sword into your children's bellies, where did you feel it? And then I'm going to skip all the way to the end. Scene 10. Scene 10. Antigone holding spotlight. Open to a lengthy commute. Cars too close to suggest the people here don't sleep alone. From a dead mouth, woman, I want to get better. Melis. In bed, nursing the yellowed bruise on my shoulder, I wanted to write love poems, but couldn't make love come as anything other than a budding threat made over the phone from an undisclosed location where he took too much with his teeth. Typhon. Stop speaking, you bowl of fruit. Woman. You say that I am some kind of consumption. Typhon. That you are useless on display. The city takes everything in. No heave. Aya. Dear Antigone. In an auditorium full of children, I light a match to my face. As in, don't talk me out of it. When I say I have been on more than one bus with a woman speaking to herself, I mean I am cursed by a handheld mirror's weaponized sun. I try to block out the women's voices with my earbuds blaring, but still the soft hiss of their speeches are a deafening static, a nursery to care for the pressure of voicelessness. Woman, like apology left on the voicemail. Typhon, like knife pulling down the center of a movie screen, seconds its flatness. Back in her apartment, woman perches in her window. She watches a man in the alleyway below. From his suitcase, he pulls out a needle. Woman deducts his erasure from the city count. She practices feeling little loss. Dear Helen, a woman, I should tell you, I'm sorry, this is gonna cuss again. I'm so sorry if you have gentle ears. Dear Helen, a woman's panic is a swimming pool filled by a garden hose. As in, I am on the street corner when a man whizzes by on his bike, you look beautiful. As in, I am walking down the street when someone yells from their car window, fucking slut. As in, you, Helen, got to sail home with your lover in the end, and I hate you for it. As in, I am looking out the bus window when a man across the aisle rubs himself. As in, I am in my bed with a knife when a man comes back to my apartment at 2 a.m. As in, I am holding my right hand over my heart when I tell everyone I am fine. Melis. Circulate back to scene. A window dressing splintered light cuts your face in two. How I should have entered your mind midday. Looking at the grass thinking, if this was real, it would be dying. The living room's blue face knocks the walls open to a sound stage. Don't make this a history to crack up my face. The cusp is an end you speak, pulling air back in. What if the room the door leads to is without walls? You walk through and back out without a rival. All these views running around the page are hard to separate. You've gone too far inward, you see, like a star eating from its belly. I'm going to pull your head out of the barrel. There are no more apples. You and that you are not really here, not really. I've had my heel on the ledge since the beginning. Typhon. The fast collapse of an accordion has the power to break air into wider space. Thank you.
Damn. Damn. All right. Wow. Can't wait to. Oh, holy shit. That was so much fun. Round of applause for Whitney. And Jess Nieberg. If you head up to Denver and work in MFA, you can see them doing that thing. Shout out to Dylan and Gal. Our baristas back there taking care of you. Make sure you take care of them. And thanks to Innisfree, we'll be back a week from today, next Wednesday, with Sam Churtell.
Really?
Yeah. Sam Churtell will be reading with us, so see you all then. Another round of applause for Whitney.
Nothing matters but
Whatever.
Oh,